Bhagavaram Sammasambuddho Smakatoyena Bhagavata Namo Supatipanno Yasa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Dhammayam Bhagavatam Sadhamam Sasana Ime Sadari Yataham Arupite Abhipujayana Sadhuno Bhante Bhagava Suchiramani Buddhopi Pajima Janata Nukam Banadasa Ime Sadari Dugata Banaka Rabute Patitanna Tu Sammadam Vidaratam Hidaya Sukaya Aram Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Vimadi Swagato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhamman Vasarmi Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samnanami Mayam Buddhasa Bhagavato Bhagavantanamagaranggaro Nasi Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
So, very good, very nice to see you all again. So please now, everyone here, everyone online, sit up nicely, good straight back, and be still. And do your best to remain absolutely still during the next 55 minutes or so. And you close your eyes, and as you close your eyes, you leave behind all that you've been doing, thinking about, worrying about. You put down everything of the past and you leave it. And you do your best now to keep your attention, at least during this evening, here and now. And we commence, as usual, by bringing to mind the Buddha, our great teacher and source of inspiration, recollecting particularly his perfect mind, a mind that was completely clear of any kind of corruption or defilement, and even far away, far distant from anything of that kind. His mind was a mind of infinite compassion too, a truly wonderful being, perfect in knowledge and conduct. Now, when we recollect the Buddha, when we are in any way reminded of him, we should be inspired to do what we can do to cleanse our minds of all greed, hatred, and delusion, and free ourselves utterly from all suffering. And look upon this as doing yourselves an enormous favor. You've taken time apart now to come and sit and cultivate your mind. And this is to give yourself a great opportunity. Be aware of that generosity and kindness that you're showing yourself. And remember too, as you embark on this journey, to do so with a mind of loving kindness, being kind to yourself, caring of yourself, appreciative of yourself, and accepting too. Now, next, we must take a moment to remind ourselves of the nature of this human existence of ours. We're all getting older. It can't be helped, it happens. Time is passing, and time consumes everything. And we can easily become unwell or meet with an accident, even become very ill indeed. It can happen. It's a vulnerable existence that we're leading. And then whatever we do, whatever happens to us, there will come a day when we will die. That's the direction our life is taking. We've been born, and then one day we will die. And we don't know when. And that knowledge, that contemplation should encourage us to make the best use of the time that we do have. We don't know how much it is, how long we will live. So determine, at least this evening, to use your time, the time that we have together, the time to practice to the very best of your ability. Now, quite Deliberately gather and concentrate your mind and establish mindfulness of just what you're doing. And what are you doing? You're sitting and you're breathing. And there might be something else going on, thinking or dreaming. Try to make it now just sitting and breathing. And narrow the focus a little further. So now it's just breathing. Be sure you know just how and where you perceive the breath. Keep your attention there. And be mindful of each incoming breath, each outgoing breath. Remember to be mindful of any interruptions, any thoughts or feelings or sounds which interrupt your concentration on the breath. Just when you notice them, be mindful of them. Just observe, watch, and let them go. And find the breath again, and again try to keep your mind with each in-breath and each out-breath. So you've all been sitting very well, very still, very silently. Please continue with that. But during the next few minutes, while I'm talking, just practice the art of listening. And you might reflect for a moment that people mostly make quite a lot of noise, but don't always listen to each other very well. To listen is an art, and it involves just doing that, just listening and being open to what you hear. And what you hear you may appreciate or accept or not. And if you don't, you can discard it, and if you do, you benefit. But it's always as well to listen to each other, to listen to people, to listen to things. And to listen to nature. The word Dhamma or Dhamma means nature. And we are, of course, concerned with discovering for ourselves the true nature of things. And we help ourselves by paying attention to the environment, to the nature, to what is going on around us. And when we do, we can't help but notice that things are changing. Everything around us, all that we experience, is in a state of flux. And really and truly, there is an immediacy to what we hear and see and touch and taste and smell and think. It happens, and then it's over. The bird song that you might have just heard a moment or two ago, it was there and now it's gone. And so it is with everything, all that we experience, our thoughts and feelings included. They come and they go, they persist for a while. And unless we hold on to them and feed them, then they disappear. And of course, some of this that we experience, we can't help but feel is rather marvelous, and we want to have it again and again. And some things we experience we don't like, and we want to be rid of them. And this is our life. That through our senses we are in touch with what's going on around us. And that contact produces feelings of liking or disliking, of pleasure or pleasantness or unpleasantness. And that in turn generates craving, desire, wanting. And from there, attachment arises. This is what's happening to us, what we're doing all the time. And usually, because we don't see the true nature of things, we reject one thing and hold on to another. And what we hold on to, of course, is bound sooner or later to break. Ajahn Chah used to say to view whatever you have as broken already. He picked up a glass. It's a broken glass. Because that's the nature of it, everything. That it changes, breaks, disintegrates. It's over at some point. Even though right now we can't quite see it. And so we want it, and we want to hold on to it. It's a difficult practice to really see the nature of things. We can read about what the Buddha taught, that everything is impermanent, unsatisfactory, and without any kind of substance. It's not me or mine. It has no self or soul or enduring substance. And we can read this and we may accept it, we may believe it. But to see and experience it is something else. But that's why we practice. We're practicing meditation to familiarize ourselves with what we experience. And when you learn to listen properly, to go about your daily life aware, then you discover that everything is there to teach you. Because all that you hear, all that you experience, everything you see is of this nature. And you don't have to believe any of it. You don't have to keep stopping and saying that's impermanent, or you build an intuitive understanding, an experiential understanding of things, simply by being aware, observing, and listening. And it's really rather marvelous. And it takes away the difficulty and the pain that people experience when what they love, what they're attached to, what they want to hold on to, breaks, disappears. When persons die, when we're parted from those that we want to be with. Gradually, by being more mindful and aware, by developing our minds, we can understand the nature of things and let go of those attachments, those mistakes that we are continually making. When we practice meditation, when we sit like we have this evening, of course we are trying to concentrate our minds. Of course there is an element of stillness and peacefulness that comes from doing this. But we all know that at times it can be quite difficult, quite a difficult practice. It should be very easy. After all, it's not complicated to explain, to sit and concentrate on your breathing. You're breathing in and out all the time. But we all know, and especially this is the case in the beginning, that it can be very difficult to do that. And one of the first great lessons we learn as we practice this is that we don't have much control over our minds. They go off onto all sorts of things, apparently by themselves. Thoughts spring up, feelings appear, interruptions continually to our attempt to keep our mind on the breath. So it's a simple thing, but it's quite difficult at times. At times it may be better than others. And some of you may be more inclined to concentrate well than your neighbors. But you see, really and truly, the purpose of our practice isn't to just be peaceful. It's to know. It's to become familiar with the nature of our being, with the nature of all things. It's all there. We're experiencing it all the time. But we're not in touch with it. We don't get it. And so we have to do a bit of work to try and part the curtains and get there. And learning to concentrate to a degree and to make your minds more settled and calmer, of course, is important. It's almost impossible to watch your mind if it's turbulent. So you do need to calm it down, to quieten it. But you still need to be aware, to be watchful, to be listening. And then by degrees, you begin to get it. And as you get it, so you feel more at ease with things, and you're less troubled by the changing nature of the things around you and by your losses and so on. And that means that you're not suffering as much as you did. When we watch the animals and the birds, living in the countryside like this is a great privilege and opportunity, and monks like myself like to be in places such as these because of being close to nature and the animals and the birds and so forth. And you see them alert. They're always alert. This is very striking. At any time of the day or night when I'm walking these woods and I see the creatures, they're always alert. Because they're on the watch for danger, they need to be safe. And so do we. We also need to be alert and watchful of what our minds are up to. Partly so that we can protect ourselves from unskillful states of mind, from greed and from anger and so on. But also so that we can be alert to the nature of things, to this changing nature of our experience, of our being. The Buddha said, well, he taught as part of the Noble Eightfold Path, right effort. And right effort is very important. It's the effort to avoid any kind of unskillfulness, unpleasantness, whether within oneself or outside. And then to overcome anything that gets past your guard, that gets into your mind, that upsets you. And then the effort to cultivate what is good, what is wholesome. And then lastly, and so very important, the effort to maintain your practice. It's so easy to become complacent, to let things go. So you have to make that effort to keep it up. Those animals in the woods, they keep it up all the time. They're alert all the time. And so should we be. So do your best to cultivate your minds and to develop familiarity. Make yourselves familiar with the nature of things. That's what is happening as you become more mindful and aware. And with familiarity comes understanding and wisdom and freedom. And at the very least, a reduction in your suffering. And in time, more than that. So do your best. And that's enough from me for tonight. We'll sit for just a moment or two longer. And in these closing moments, please, as usual, cultivate loving kindness for yourselves and for others. May you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free from all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivade Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. So thank you all very much for coming. Very good to see you all. I hope you have a good week and we'll meet again soon. Good night.